right. So I think today's pretty easy. Today we're going to talk about dilations. Oh, is my pen going to die on me? Of course it's going to die on me. Let's see if I have a pen that works for it. Okay, here we go. Dilations. So we're either going to make something expand or contract. Okay. 5, 11, 22. Okay. So you ready? Dilate triangle ABC by a factor of 1.5. I like to use colors. I always do. So here's my, like to call it a pre-image. I just like to call it the original, okay? I don't know why the book calls it a pre-image. Because we're going to get an image, okay? So I know that. So by 1.5. So I really need to do this with a ruler and try and do it as neatly as I can. But the idea is I'm going to dilate it by 1.5. Now I have to have a point to start at. So let's call this our point P. And I like to start somewhere. And that's a great spot to start. So it's going to go from here and go get bigger. Does that make sense? I'm going to start from point P right there and get bigger. So it's as easy as this. First, let's measure. Let's measure the distance from P to A. So PA, I'm going to measure, looks like about 2.3. What do you think? 2.3? So PA is about 2.3 centimeters. All right, let's measure PB. PB in centimeters, looks like about 5. Oh, I like that. And I like to draw in the line. So PB is about 5. Okay, and then PC, all right? PC, measure PC, go like that with my ruler. About 3.5 maybe? I'm going to go with 3.5, okay? So once you've got the measurements, let's just do a scale factor. So all I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go ahead and find P prime. So PA, now we call it prime because that's going to be the new point. This little dash means prime. And I'm just going to take my 2.3 times my scale factor, 1.5. That's all I'm going to do. So I take my distance, and in my calculator say, okay, what is 2.3? 2.3 times 1.5. And it's going to go to 3.46, okay, or 45. So it becomes 3.45. All right, so I'm going to draw it in. All right, from P, 3.45. All right, so I can guesstimate 3.45 is about there, right? About there. So I just draw it from P through A, and I move the point. See, I did that. I drew it from the point and just moved the point, and we're going to call that P prime. That's the image. Easy. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, so I know this is 5. So to get PB prime, I'm just going to take my 5, which is my length here, and multiply it times my scale factor, 1.5. So 5 times 1.5 is about a 7.5. So I'm going to measure this out 7.5, which puts point B right there, doesn't it? All right, there's point B, B prime. And then finally, we'll do the same thing with C. I'm going to find PC prime, PC prime. I'll take the 3.5 and I'll multiply it by a scale factor times 1.5. Let's see what we get, okay? You guys doing this? And so if I take 3.5 times 1.5, I get an answer of about 5.25. I'm just going to measure that out. 5.25 is maybe right about there, okay? And that is going to be C prime. Now my new triangle is going to be this one here, and I'm going to color it because I like colors. Colors are cool. So I moved it and I expanded it by a scale factor of 1.5. What do you think? Pretty easy? Okay, pretty easy. So let's have you guys then do example 2. Okay, let's have you do example 2. So it says dilate, but it's really going to shrink. It really will shrink. Scale factor is 2/3. So you guys give it a try. Okay, let's shrink it. Okay. Let's go ahead. Grab your ruler. Okay, grab your ruler. You guys can do this, right? Grab your ruler. Come on now. I want to borrow your phone. I'm going to borrow your phone and put your phone right there, okay? Right there. So it's close to you, but it's not that easy to touch, is it? Right? All right, so I'm going to measure. I'm going to call this A, B, C, D. It's about 3.2. And then I'm going to take 2/3 of 3.2. So 3.2 times 2/3. What do I get? About 2.1. Okay, so I'm going to get about 2.1. So I'm going to bring it in to 2.1. All right, 2.1. So I went from 3.2 to 2.1. 2.1 is right about there. So A prime comes in. B, well, let's see, that's about 8. So that's about 8. If I take 2/3 of 8, 8 times 2/3, I get an answer about 5.3. Okay, so 5.3 is, you guys doing this? There's B prime, okay. Okay, you guys doing this? Just got to measure it. Just got to measure it, right? And then take 2/3 of it, right? You guys doing this? Anybody need help with this? Okay. We need help? Okay. Distance from C is about 11. It's about 11. It's about 11. So I'm going to take 2/3 of 11. And I get about 7.3. About 7.3 is right about there. 7.3. Put C prime right about there. Okay. And then, let's see. P, let's make sure that's P. P to D is about 7. It's about 7. It's about 7, but I'm going to take 2/3 of 7. 7 times 2/3. I get about 4.6. So measure my 4.6. 4.6 is right about there. 4.6, yeah. There's my D prime. Okay, now I'm just going to connect the dots, right? Hopefully you guys got the same thing, right? Okay, how am I doing? So I've got my first one. Here's my blue one. I like colors. You don't have to color these. I just like colors, that's all. All right. And my image my image. They call it the image, and then the pre-image. Okay, the original and the image. Okay. How am I doing? Give you guys a second to get caught up, right? Yeah, I love color. You too, right? It's so much easier to see when you color, isn't it? You see them both? Color them. It's nice. Right? Now, here's a word. Similar. Similar. Are the two shapes similar?
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to learn more about similarity, but the two shapes are definitely similar. Same shape, different size, okay? Similar. Same shape, different size. Okay, yes, they are definitely similar, aren't they? From the image to the pre-image, okay? From the image to the pre-image, okay? From the image to the pre-image. I don't never like that word pre-image because it's the original. I know, right? What a stupid. Did I say that? Didn't you say stupid? But what a silly word. Call it the original, right? But they like to call it pre-image to the image, okay? Okay. I'll wait for you and we'll turn the paper, okay? Thumbs up. Okay, let's turn the page. So now, these, we are given numbers, and this gets pretty easy. They've already drawn it. So what's the scale factor? So first of all, take a look at it. So when I look at these, that's the pre-image, right? That's the original. That's my original. Okay. So did this thing get bigger or smaller from here to here? It got smaller, right? So you've got to make sure when you do this, you're going to take the number of your original over the number of your image. Oh, did that backwards. The number of your image over your pre-image, right? Because I went from a length of 4 to a length of 2, so the scale factor is 1/2. It's that easy. Okay, it's that easy. Okay. This one went from, it's got bigger, didn't it? So I went from 20 to 25. So it got bigger, so it's a scale factor of 25 over 20, which would reduce to, or I can choose my calculator. I think, what is that? 1.25. 25 divided by 20, 1.25. Is my scale factor. Scale factor, okay? And then finally, the last one, it got bigger, didn't it? It got bigger. It went from here to here. So again, our scale factor, I like colors, to there, to there. We're going to go and get bigger, so it's going to be 27 to 9, which is a scale factor of 3, okay? All right, almost done. Almost done. So, what's going to be different about this one is we aren't going to measure it. We'll just multiply by our scale factor. Okay, now it's a -3, which is kind of weird. What's that going to do? Okay, it will make it bigger, but in a different direction. Check this out. Okay, it'll make it bigger, but in a different direction. Okay, so let me graph it first. Okay, so I'm going to have A at -3, 1. There's A. B is -4, -1. There's B. C is at -2 and -1. There's C. Okay, so it's this little itty bitty triangle. Okay, and I'm going to color it in. Okay. So -3 is kind of weird. It's going to make it 3 times as big. It will, but it's going to change where it goes. Okay, so what we're going to do is just take A prime, call it A prime, and to get A prime, we're going to take -3, 1, and we're going to multiply it by 3, by -3. To get B prime, which is going to be the image, we're going to take -4, -1, and we're going to multiply it by our scale factor of -3. Okay, it's pretty easy, isn't it? And then finally, to get C prime, I'm going to take my point -2, -1, and multiply by my scale factor of -3. Okay? So I'm going to get A prime to be +9, -3. B prime becomes +12, +3. And then C prime becomes a +6, +3. Okay? Let's see if I can graph that. So I just multiplied all my points by -3. That's all I did. So I get 9, -3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, -3. There's A prime. 12, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3. B prime. 6, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. C prime. Okay, let me draw that in. So Scott, what did it do? It made it 3 times as big, but what else did it do? It did make it upside down, didn't it? Isn't that weird? So it changed not only its size, but its orientation too, didn't it? And of course, we're going to talk more about that as the week progresses, but there it is, right? So I'm going to shade that in. So it went from this little triangle to a triangle 3 times as big, but with a totally different orientation, okay? All right, what do you think? Not too bad? Thumbs up? Okay, so homework's just as easy today. We're going to do it out of our journal today, so it will be an easy job. We are going to do page 252 for homework. I'm going to write this down for you. So homework, page 252. We're going to go do 1 through 9 all, okay? All right, what do you think? Not too bad? All right. If you need a real quick brain break, that's okay, but you got to wander back. If you're going to use the bathroom or whatever, you got to wander back. Don't be gone forever. Stop. Stop.